Hey, everybody, and welcome back to She Sells Episode 2. The name of our show today is called What the Heck is POD, and we'll be getting to that soon. Kind of sounds like a disease or something, but it's really not. And we have our co-host Angie back. Say hi, Angie.
Hi, Angie. Hi, everybody. I'm Angie. How's it going?
What you been up to this week? Anything different?
Oh, well, this week, actually, non-business stuff completely. In Austin, Texas, there is a music festival called the ACL, or Austin City Limits Music Festival, on the weekends. And the boyfriend and I had 3A passes. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we saw about 6 to 9 bands every single day.
Wow, that sounds like a blast. So have you recovered yet?
I've just. It takes a little time, and mostly because it was so hot
Oh,
out there all day long. But it was wonderful. We saw some incredible music, great new acts, great old acts. What more could you ask
yeah,
for?
sounds like a great time.
It was.
Maybe a few beers here and there.
Yeah, well, if I don't drink beer, so yes, I only wish. How was your week?
Oh my gosh, so I've been traveling a lot. I was just telling you before the show came out. I think I've driven 1,100 miles this month. I have Mile IQ, and I was gonna check it real quick, but I don't have my phone down here.
You're an animal.
Yeah, just chasing those deals. I mean, that's what we do when you find a good deal and you run out in Atlanta. You drive to other places to find them. So trying to
Drive
get all stocked up for Q4.
more.
Yep,
And how has it started so far for you?
been pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome.
So we talked last week about, well, sorry, I guess 2 weeks ago, because I was out traveling last week and we decided not to do it last week. But we talked about you interviewing me the first time, and now I'm going to interview you and talk about what you do. So I wanted to ask you, because you actually have a day job, a
I
big
do.
girl day job.
I do.
And so I guess at some point you decided you wanted to do something in addition.
That's true. Basically, yeah, I work for a major university here in Texas. It's a great job. It's got great benefits. I have great pay. There is nothing wrong with my job, but I'm not in control of my own destiny. And that's something I've always wanted. I want to be the boss. I want to be the boss of me. And actually, my foray into online entrepreneurship started with me deciding to try to become a virtual assistant.
Oh, wow. How do you do that?
Yeah, that's a I know, right? So I joined a few Facebook groups and tried to figure out how to become a virtual assistant. And one day I was at a gathering of neighbors and mentioned that I was trying to do this thing to another neighbor. And she said, "Oh, well, I happen to work for, a tourism company in Canada. And, it's my company, even though I don't live there anymore. And we could use some help."
Oh,
And
wow.
so I worked for them part-time on my time off for probably about a year, year and a half. And
Oh,
it was interesting. It was a great segue into online working, but it also segued me into what I'm doing now because I fell upon other things by doing that.
oh, okay. And so what did that lead you into? What did you start in with maybe the reselling end of it?
So I had stumbled on a video about eBay, right? And of course, everybody knows eBay, but I was like, well, I like eBay and I like clothes, and I bet I could sell clothes on eBay, which is what everybody who starts eBay probably thinks of. I can sell clothes on eBay. And so I started my own eBay store, and I forayed into that, which fell into learning about Amazon FBA, and I fell into doing a little bit of that, which fell into Merch by Amazon. And we can talk about that because that's related to Pod, which led me then to Pod, which
Okay.
is
Wow.
you're going
And
to ask
so have you kept your hands kind of in all of those?
a little bit, but I'm backing off of the eBay now because I'm learning what I'm good at, what I like, and what I have time for, which It's as much as one would like.
Yeah, and you've got a lot going on there. But also I think over time we kind of learn to pick the things that we like. I mean, I
Yeah,
do eBay and I do Amazon. I mean, I guess my whole issue is that the balance of the time. So when I take a little time to start doing eBay, I feel like that takes up a lot of my time. And
yeah.
then I've kind of left Amazon a little bit. So you must be like torn in all directions.
I am, but and I did. I am one of those classic people who decides to take the biggest bite of the sandwich I can, you know. And there's another sandwich, and I do that there. I'm like the hamster with the trying to do everything at once because that's just the way I do things. It's
Yeah.
silly, but it's the way I quickly pare down what I don't want versus what I do want. I just do everything at once,
All
and
right.
things emerge to me that tell me, you're not enjoying this, but you're really digging this.
Yeah.
It just becomes evident to me. I don't have to really sit down and plan it out. It just comes naturally to something. And I've always lived my life by letting myself funnel into that thing. And that's always led me in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think, it's good to try out different venues or different things. I mean, not necessarily all at one time.
Yeah, I don't recommend that, people.
But I think that when we're doing something that we really like, it's almost not a job. Like
Right.
right now, I mean, last week I probably worked 80 to 100 hours last week and drove,
Crazy girl.
1,000 miles on top of that. But honestly, I mean, literally by the fifth day, I mean, Saturday I was pretty much a vegetable because I
Yeah.
shipped at least 4 times on the trip. So I would stay up till 1:32 prepping and shipping the next morning and out shopping again the next day. But I had a blast doing it. I also spent $10 extra at a hotel one night and stayed on the beach.
Oh, no.
So I had my like 2 hours in the morning
Yeah.
looking at the beach. I looked at it. The moon was shining on the beach at night. So there are some perks here and there, but I did work 80 to 100 hours a week for like 2 hours looking at the
But
water.
yeah, that's amazing. You're crazy. I love it.
So now I just have to ask, what the heck is POD?
POD stands for print on demand. Print on demand is an industry wherein you don't necessarily have to be the person carrying the product. You are more of the content creator. I mean, you can carry the product, but you're the content creator and you sell your wares. It can be t-shirts, it can be pillowcases, it can be shoes, it could be jewelry, it can be shower curtains.
Oh,
Or
wow. I had no idea.
or there are so many pod products out there. Almost anything you could think of, you could probably find a pod product that would sell that or a company that would allow you to sell that. And all you have to do is make the design and do the thing.
Wow.
That makes it sound very simple. It's not as simple as that, but that is what pod is.
Okay, so I knew there was like t-shirts and mugs, but that was about the extent of what I knew. So there's actually way more product out there than I really thought.
They're
But
really
now do you have to find a lot of different companies? Or I know merch is basically just t-shirts, right? Or now they do the phone uh,
pop sockets.
pop sockets.
Pop sockets. And so Sue's talking about the Merch by Amazon program, which is also a content creator program where you apply to get in and you submit your designs and you're given X amount of slots and you can create your t-shirt or your pop socket designs and you just upload it and you're the content creator for Amazon. Amazon is the seller, not you. You're the content creator and you get a small royalty from each sale based on how you price your product. Amazon has minimums and also maximums per product. So right now, if you get into Merch by Amazon, most people start out being able to sell regular t-shirts, premium t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies. Now there are also pop sockets, which are those little things that go on the back of your phone if you don't know what those are. And so those are the products that they have so far for you to create content and sell.
And so do you have to be careful, like with copyright of words or pictures, or how does that work?
Yes, you have to become very good at using the patent website, the UTPSO or whatever, to look up trademarks. You don't want to use a trademarked item. You don't want to copyright. You don't want to copy somebody's design. You can have inspiration by a design, but you don't just copy somebody's design. You don't just, as they call it, pixel for pixel. You don't just lift their picture and use it or anything like that. That's kind of
And so
uh,
do you have to be like an artist really to be able to create, or can anybody do it really?
anybody can do it. There are so many resources out there. How many people do you see in a day? Just think about it when you're out shopping, especially you. You're out there, you see somebody with a t-shirt with just words on it. You can be
Right.
that person. All you need to do is be able to type the words and stick them on, put them on there nicely. Pick the right font. Font is everything. And for people that want to use graphics, there are ready-made graphics. There are graphics you can buy from people. You can hire designers if you just want to be the brains with the idea. You don't have to do the design at all. It depends. You can do it with zero money, or you can put money into it a little bit. You could put a lot into it and just build it into whatever you want.
Wow. So do you need like a program like Photoshop or something like that?
You don't even need that. There are so many online programs that are free. One that a lot of people use on their cell phones is called Over. It's the Over app, which to me sounds funny. I don't know why. But there's also a lot of free online resources. There's also paid resources that you can use. There's like GIMP, and I myself am slightly versed in Photoshop and the other Adobe, which now for some reason I can't think of.
Illustrator?
Thank you. Oh my God, we're on TV. I do use those because I like to do a little bit more, and I do purchase graphic packages that are allowable for commercial use. I always check the license from items I buy. And I use a lot of, for my mugs that I'm doing right now, I use a lot of florals. So I've bought just packages and packages of floral designs that I can use with those. And, you can put elements of different graphics packages together. So you could do it that way for not very much. A lot of the packages I've bought have been like $12 and I get 5,000, images or elements to use.
Okay, so when you're buying a package like that, so you look for something that you're allowed to reuse and reuse it on something that you're selling. That's what you have to look for.
Yep. All the sites that sell those things will definitely spell that out for you. And you just read the fine print. So you become very good at reading the fine print and deciphering, really it's a little bit of law, you're deciphering, the legalities of what you're purchasing and what you're purchasing it for. And if there's ever any question, you can always just ask the artist directly.
So I have to say, I always say you can make money in so many ways.
Yes.
And I'm listening to you, and it's like literally, if you have a computer or even just a cell phone,
Yes.
you can spend no other money and it costs nothing to upload it, right?
If you're on Merch by Amazon, you $0.
Right. So you get into merch. Now
Yep.
you do have to like apply. Do you have to have any special what do they ask for when you apply?
They ask a small series of questions. It's been so long. They ask a series of questions, ask if you have a website. I think when I signed up, I didn't have a website. This was a year and a half ago. But I signed up, and there are people that they get rejected. Nobody knows why.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that get in 1 or 2 days. There are people that waited a year to get in. The program is in its infancy.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's going to be opportunity there. So you can do that for $0. But
Yeah,
if you,
that's fascinating to me. That really you can virtually do that with no money at all.
all you're spending is time
Mm-hmm.
and effort, and patience. And if you do have a little money, you could start an Etsy store, which is free, but it's 20 cents per listing, and your listing lasts for 4 months.
Okay, so then you would sell the same product there, but then how do you that I mean Etsy is more, I thought, items that you had yourself that you would then sell.
Etsy has recently realized that Pod is probably profitable for them too. So they have opened it up with rules, of course, you know, um, that you can do Pod on Etsy. I could sell my mugs there. I can sell my t-shirts there. If I saw, if I decided to go into something else, which I just have to slow down because I have 3 Etsy stores already. Leggings is the other
But
one I'm
Etsy,
doing.
but Etsy is not the pod company.
They are not.
Okay.
You do have to disclose to them what company you are using.
Okay, so you go out and find a company that also does pod,
Yes.
like Merch by Amazon, and then you link that somehow to the Etsy store?
So you wouldn't use merch with Etsy, but there are other pods. There is one called Printful that has a very lovely integration with Etsy that is so easy that you say you put your design on the Printful site and it has an automatic push to Etsy. There are other pods where they don't have the push, but you can still use them. You just have to manually put your items up. It's all a learning process.
Oh, so on that first one that you were talking about, you don't even have to make the listing?
Nah, yeah, you do, but it's not.
You make the listing and link it, kind
You
of.
kind of make the listing and link it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I create my shirt, I put it here, I fill out some details, it pushes to Etsy, and then I go in and do a few more things to it, click a few buttons, make it live.
Okay, and then when somebody buys it, what do you have to do at that point?
With this particular integration that we're talking about, nothing.
Wow, that's fantastic. So it sounds like it's a lot of learning at first and a lot of setup, but once you've got it rolling, not a lot of daily,
you
listings daily. I mean, unless you have something new, you don't have to ship, you don't have to make it. That's all kind of done for you. That's fantastic.
You got to make sure, I check stuff to make sure it's in stock. I check every order to make sure somebody didn't put like a special message.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Bob, happy birthday, because you manually do have to do something like that. Otherwise, I have set it up so that it's all automated. It sends my customer, thanks for your order. Here's your order. When it ships, it automatically sends them a tracking number. And so it is the most fairly automated and integrated with Etsy pod out there. There are others that are, working their way toward it, but they're not quite as integrated yet as Printful. I think Printful got in there first and they've been doing it longer.
Okay, so when you say you have different stores, is it like you have one store for mugs and one store for shower curtains? Or is it with those different companies?
So both.
Okay.
Etsy has very specific rules on multiple stores, which you need to learn. Now I can't have this t-shirt store and have all of these shirts and then have this t-shirt store and have all the same shirts, because number one, why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
But if I had a niche store like the one that I told you about, I'm gonna have a misheard lyrics shirt store, people. Anyway, so
that is so cool. I just think that's
yeah. So that will actually be my 4th store, and then I have a general store. Now I won't have the same products in those stores because it's against Etsy's rules. I have a separate store for my leggings, but I use the same company because I really love their product.
Okay.
Now my
mug store is more for the product line.
Yeah, or the niche.
Mm-hmm.
And so the mug store is actually not through Printful, it's through a different company. And so I also have started my own Shopify store. And so I'm using Shopify to push to the Etsy. So now I'm learning Shopify.
Wow, it sounds a little complicated, but like you said, it sounds like a lot of front end learning.
It's all front end, yeah. It's
But
all
then
friends.
it could really be some great passive income once you've got it all set up.
I think so, and that's what I was hoping. And I really wanted to be further along for Q4, but I have to I have to realize that I'm, I do work outside the home, I do have a family to take care of. I do, need to have a life and go to those music festivals. So somewhere in there, I fit in all this other stuff when I can. And I
So
didn't.
I was just going to say, sort of talk us through what your day is like.
Oh my gosh. I get up at 5:30. I make me and the boyfriend a cup of coffee because I love to have coffee in bed. So
With mugs that you made?
I haven't ordered one of my own mugs yet. But I love them all so much. I have to figure out which one I'm going to have. I think, and I'm going to say a semi cuss word on our show, so be ready, people. I think I'm going to get my bitches get shit done mug. I think that's going to be the one I own.
I need to order that one.
So 5:30, we get up. I'm at work by 7:30 a.m. at the university. I chose not to take a lunch break so that I could get off as soon as humanly possible to work on my own business. So I get off at 3:30.
Oh, that's nice, but 7:30 is just too early for me.
Very early.
I'm just waking up and starting my coffee then.
I'm dying every morning. I keep wondering, why am I doing this to myself? But the why is so I can come home, be home by 4. I will work on my stuff until the boyfriend says, "Hey, I'm on my way home," and I'm cooking my dinner for him. And if his son is here, I will cook dinner for all of us. So I pop downstairs and I cook dinner for us, and we have dinner together because that's what we do. And if I'm exhausted, we'll hang out and watch the tube for a little while. So I don't get a whole lot of work in. But if it seems like everybody is milling around because both my guys are musicians, if they're going into the studio and doing their thing, well, then I'll just come right back up here and work until 9:30, and then we go to sleep by 10. And I do it all over again. So I try to fit a lot in on the weekends when we're not running around Austin also.
Which seems to me, at least this fall, that every weekend you're going to concerts and stuff.
No, that's why I didn't get as much done for Q4 as I thought. There are so many things happening in this town. And I had, and I know in the future we're going to talk about as women taking on too much or trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
I had been doing that to the point where I would get really angry if my time was interrupted here working on my stuff. And I thought, well, that's no way to live. Don't get angry and don't be so upset that you can't work another 20 hours this week. When you're doing fine, we can pay our bills, we can buy our food, I can fix my car if it's broken. That's all you really need in life, right? You just need to be able to have fun and get by. But I started turning it into no fun, and then I was like, okay, scale back, calm down.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because I don't think you don't want it, number one, to me, get burned out. It's an enjoyable thing for you. So
I love it
don't
so
push
much.
it to the point where, because I think you really like that creativity.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I'm on a jag, I'll let that jag go. I'll just, if I'm not going to be the one making dinner, I'll be like, I'm on a jag, fend for yourselves. Or cook me dinner, damn it. Yeah.
Kitchen's closed.
They're wonderful. That's the great thing about living with other creatives is they get it.
Yeah. And it's nice to have people that support you in what you want to do as well.
Oh yeah. I'll like be upstairs and my boyfriend's downstairs, and I'll text him my latest mug. And I can hear him laughing from down there. So it's pretty cool.
So if somebody just wants to get started doing this, what would you recommend? What should they do first? What should they learn? What YouTube should they watch? Just how should they get started?
I think the best thing to do would be, definitely if you're interested in merch by Amazon, then do some searches for merch by Amazon YouTube videos, and watch a couple. There's just like a million people doing this. There's a lot of content out there. If you're interested in Printful and Etsy, having your own store that you're a little more in control of, do some searches, look at that, and then actually join a couple of Facebook groups. I got a little out of control and I was in a whole bunch of merch groups, and there's so much conflicting information out there that I would suggest you start small and just get into a couple of groups, see how you feel. If you like how the feel is, stay. If you don't, get out and go find a couple more, because there's a lot of information overload.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and decide, number one, do I want to spend any money on this? Okay. Number two, okay, if I'm going to spend a little money on this, how much do I have?
Mm-hmm.
Create yourself a budget and just kind of go from there, just baby steps. Don't try to compete with anybody else. Don't try to bite off more than you can chew like I did. And don't think you have to learn all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Practice designing. Go out there, and when you see somebody say, hey, I used this app or this website to create this thing, give it a whirl, see how it feels. You start, when I made my first few designs, the thing that was the weirdest to me was, how do I know what font to use? How am I going to know that? And so I would put the words on with my graphic, and I would look at it, and I'd try a couple of others, and I was like, oh, well, that changes like the whole feel. And I was like, oh, and it was just like a little light bulb finally went off that I was like, oh, you just feel it. Really, you just feel it. If it feels right, it's probably right.
It's funny because my son is actually a graphic designer, and he came by the house and he grabbed the mail and brought it in, and we have all these political ads right now. And he's showing me this. Look at this. They forgot to cut out this and this. He just is always ragging on people's graphics. Or we'll drive by a restaurant and he goes, that is the worst logo I've ever
seen. Look at that font.
And apparently there's some Reddit. He was showing me some Reddit about design, and I mean about bad design. And there were hilarious things on there. So if you're into Reddit or whatever, look up bad designs. I mean,
I love that kind of stuff.
Like the design on the side of a bus.
Yeah.
And like the tailpipe sticking out, and it was totally inappropriate where it landed on this man.
I've seen so much of that stuff, and I absolutely love it. I just, I'm not trying to make fun of people, but it's funny.
It is hilarious. So you talked about merch, and you talked about Printful, I think.
Yes, I did.
What are some of the other ones?
So some of the others that you can do for free also would be like, you've heard of Zazzle or Cafe Press, T-Launch. They have their own sites that artists can put their stuff on their site. Zazzle and Redbubble are probably two very, very large ones that I think probably a lot of people have heard of. Also $0. You upload your design, they do everything.
Wow, that amazes me. I knew what print on demand was, but I didn't realize how little the upfront cost was for it. Yeah. That's fantastic.
It can be completely free. And if, I think some of those other sites, which I haven't delved deep into, some of them have like real artsy stuff, like Society 6 or, some of the little bit smaller ones. They, you can tell by looking at their shirts who they cater to. They're not just that graphic demographic probably isn't gonna like just a plain old text shirt.
Okay, so
you can't start there.
Gotcha. So if you have the idea that this is something you'd like to do, it would be a good idea to look through the stores of those.
Oh, by all means.
Kind of see where you would fit, where your designs would fit, or the idea that you have.
Yeah, or even if you're scared, just put them up there. The worst that's going to happen is that you spend a lot of time and you get nothing back. There's still no money out, and you had fun doing it, and you did something different.
On those particular sites, is there a way to promote your your shirt over someone else's, or?
Some of them have things that you can do. Some of them have programs that you can buy. You can buy advertising or do, even Amazon does have a advertising program for people doing merch. I could go in there and do that. Sometimes I do that just to get a, boost something, like maybe during Halloween. Like right now, I should probably do an ad or two for my Halloween shirts and see if I can't gain some interest there.
And do you like tag them?
Do you use keywords?
Okay.
They're keywords in their pay per click, and you can decide how much. It's like a minimum of $1 a day. So you could do something for 3 days and not spend hard. You could just spend your $3. It'd probably go pretty fast, but you could.
Mm-hmm.
It's all up to you. You don't have to. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to do any of that stuff.
But I mean, people are just searching, and they'll come by your design, and
you got it.
They might purchase it then.
Right, and of course you're going to put some keywords that are relevant to your design. If I'm making a shirt for bowlers, I'm going to put bowling design, bowling league, bowler shirt, pins, bowling ball, stuff like that somebody would search for. And all you got to do is think about it this way. You're going to go shopping on Amazon. You're going to go buy some bobby pins or something. How are you going to find those bobby pins?
Yeah, do a search.
Yeah, what would you put in the title? What would you put in the search bar?
I guess bobby pins.
Exactly. So if you don't have bobby pins as your keyword, that's wrong.
Okay.
You want to put bobby pins as your keyword.
And have you ever done anything like, okay, now you're getting your Shopify store. Have you, or do you know anybody who would do something like have an Instagram account and pull followers that way, or Twitter or anything like that?
There's a lot of people that do that. Now, me being in, the generation you and I are in, we're not very good at the whole Instagram thing or the tweeting.
Hey, speak for yourself. She sells.
Well, I'm not. So I started an Instagram for the mug store, and
cool.
I put like 2 whole posts on there, and I followed a few people, and then immediately, all this other stuff happened with, that's been going on, and I just haven't gotten back to it. But there are people out there that will teach you. There are classes. There are even in one of my favorite Facebook groups. It's a female only merch girl boss group, or girl entrepreneur group. Actually, it's not just merch. I learned about a woman who's starting her own business, building people's Pinterest and Instagram accounts.
Yeah, that's one that I never got into, Pinterest. And I remember when it first came around, my sister was really getting into it. Yeah. And she said to me, don't look at it. Don't look at it. It'll suck your life. It's like one more Facebook thing that'll just.
Yeah.
And I never really did get much into it, but I love those memes or whatever, that say like, this is what the Pinterest shows what it looks like, and this is what mine looks like. Those always crack me up.
I love those, especially the baking ones. Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
I know people even sell their stuff through the Pinterest.
They do, and I don't know how to do that yet, but I do know that you can have buyable pins. And
it sounds like you could get as little as just throwing a few mugs up on Cafe Press if they do that or whatever, to making it very making it as complicated as you want, and I guess maybe complicated is not the word, but
making it as widespread. Yeah. Yeah, you could spread yourself all out there. The thing is you could just drop your seeds everywhere. You don't have to have all your eggs in one basket. Mm-hmm. Once you learn one of those sites, they're not all the same. Their interfaces aren't the same, but the premise is the same. So you kind of realize, okay, I'm definitely going to have to upload something. I'm definitely going to have to type in keywords in the title for my item. And I'm definitely going to have to stick it somewhere and like have a shop name or a artist name or something. So you could definitely kind of start building a brand even if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So the beauty is the sky's the limit, and it's
Yeah.
yours to do with what you want, how you want, when you want.
Yeah, that's just really, really interesting. I
Yeah.
can't get into one more thing, but I actually do have a merch account. I don't know if I still have it, but one thing I would recommend if you apply for the merch account, don't necessarily wait for the email that says you have the merch account. Mine might have gone to like junk mail or something, but
Yeah.
it was actually in the green room. I do not sell for the green room, but I always seem to bring it up. But somebody, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people said, "Hey, I got into merch. I got into merch." So I went and logged in, and sure enough, I had gotten into it as well. But I never even either the email went to junk mail or I just never got one. So if you do apply, just every once in a while, check back in.
Exactly. That's exactly what you need to do. And then you just need to upload it. And I don't know if your account may have been pre this rule, but I think you just need to upload something within the first 90 days, maybe.
Yeah, I did put a couple shirts up there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all you needed to do to have your account. It shouldn't go away unless you had a violation that got you kicked out for something, which you would know that.
Well, it's one thing I'd love to do, but
Yeah.
and I think while we were at the Green Room meetup this summer, I was making notes on some shirts.
I remember that.
But yeah, it's just one more thing for me.
It's a time thing, and I love it. I really thought I was going to get way into eBay when I started, and I have all this stuff behind me that's unlisted that I need to figure out what I'm going to do with, because I've realized that with the shipping and stuff, I don't have as much time to do that as I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would love it and that I wouldn't mind. And I was like, actually, this takes more time for me than I thought. And I really enjoy the being in front of the computer and creating way more than the listing. Yet eBay was the more profitable thing for me because I was always selling stuff. So that's a little stupid, but it's not what I want to do, and money isn't everything.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like it wouldn't be overnight. The print on demand, you're not going to make money overnight. But as you build your store and you build your empire, whatever,
Empire.
I mean, I think that could be some really good. I don't know if it's not totally passive income, but
Right.
once you've got that design up there, it could sell forever.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it. Yep. That's the beauty of it. And merch by Amazon allows something to stay up for like 120 days. And if it doesn't sell, then they remove it. But that doesn't mean you can't put it back up, rework your wording, or maybe rework your design even.
So are most of the sites like that they limit the time it can be up without having?
Nope, just merch.
Okay.
Everything else you could put up there and it'll just stay there forever. Like, sometimes I forget I've had other stuff on Redbubble or whatever, and I get a little email, "Hey, you sold something." And I'm like, "What?"
Okay, and so then does a check come in the mail, or like once a month, or you get a certain amount in the account and then it rolls over into your PayPal, or how does that work?
So each pod is different as to how they set it up. For me, I just have all my stuff direct deposited. My merch by Amazon, and I also do the it's not Kindle publishing. Yeah, Kindle publishing. I've been doing a little bit of that too. And so I haven't built up enough royalties there yet for them to pay me. I think they have a threshold, but merch, I get a check every month.
Oh, okay.
Or not check, excuse me. I misspoke. I get a direct deposit every month into my account. And for Etsy, I have a daily payout because I've been on there long enough. And so practically every time I sell something, 24 hours later, I get an email saying, "Hey, here's your $20, or here's your $30, or, whatever the amount is." And it just pops into my bank account.
Nice.
Yeah. So once again, money's just kind of trickling in there. And I'm like, "Oh, I can go see this concert." No. I know, you should reinvest that in your business.
Which you have done. I mean, you've bought some classes, and like you said, you've bought some fonts or graphic packages or that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So I have some great graphics and I just love going through them all when I'm designing something and I'm like, oh, this feels spicy. I need something red. And or, it's just that's how I realize that this is more my passion. I get
Right.
excited doing that.
Yeah, and then we come back around to saying, if it's something that you love, it doesn't really feel like
It
work.
doesn't feel like work. I don't feel like, oh my God, I'm spending all this time and I'm not making a whole lot of money. Screw that. I'm having a great time. I'm making some cool mugs. I don't care if anybody else doesn't like them. I love them, Okay, I do care. But I know that I feel like all of this effort that I have spent, even when I was getting all, working too hard, that maybe in December, I'm going to be like, that's why I did that.
Yeah.
The return on investment, I'm hoping will be just lovely. And I'll be like, and that's why I worked so hard all year, and because I do want to scale back on this full-time job I have when I'm eligible to retire. That happens in 9 years. I've got 9 years to build my little online empire to maybe replace part of my income. I would love to go half-time at the university until actual retirement age.
Mm-hmm.
They have like an 80 rule, years plus age plus years of service equals 80, and I'm eligible to retire even though I'm not retirement age.
Okay.
What I'd like to do is scale back then and then just work part-time till actual retirement age. This is my dream. If I get there, that'd be awesome. If I don't, I'm still having fun.
Well, I think that's just sounds really, really interesting. I'm gonna try not to get started on one more thing, especially I can't right now with Q4. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
no, you're just gonna go
crazy
crazy.
time.
Yeah, exactly. But
But
when you're ready, I'm here for you.
and I mean, it's crazy time. But oh my gosh, when those checks come in Q4, it's worth all the hard work.
Exactly. You are going to have a stellar Q4.
Working on it.
You'll
Anyway,
do it.
well, thanks so much for all that great info and what the heck was pod. Now we all know.
I hope it helps somebody else out there that's interested in thinking about it or starting it or looking into it. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
I
And
was.
so we will be coming back with more interesting topics and people. And I guess we'll say goodnight for tonight and do the YouTube thing, subscribe and click that little bell, and you'll know when we actually do get get shows together. Like I
Right.
said, it's a crazy time of the year, so it might not be every week, but we're going to try for every week. And as always, give a sister a step up. Good night.
Good night.